Hey little queen, so this video is kind of inspired by Tana Mojo. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I had mentioned one of my old videos. If you see, oh my god, which one? Probably like one of my high school videos where I kind of mentioned this assistant VP, not even VP, and kind of what a bitch he was to me, like for 3 years of my life there in that high school. But basically, I've been watching her. Kind of like fell in love with her Storytime videos. I don't remember the first one she saw, but I saw one. I don't think it was a recent one. I think maybe it's been like a month. I don't know, or maybe it has been longer. And she talks about her own like vice principal who was like sexist or whatever. I don't know. And it kind of gave me like, I guess, the inspiration to do my video because that dude. But I kind of want to make this a series called Hunty Cunt High School Stories. I don't know, those are kind of like the initials of my high school, but not entirely, because you got to change everything just to be safe. And I don't know, I just thought, you know what, maybe let's just do this. Let's hit it out of the ballpark. So, okay, basically, sophomore year, I had heard a lot of things about this. Well, at the time, he was a teacher. And I had class with some people I know, some people I didn't know, and everything like that. It's like awkward at first. You hear things where like, oh my god, like he's so attractive and he's so hot and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, okay, like doesn't really bother me. And I feel so much like Tana Mojo against the wall right now. Um, but I was just like, okay, like whatever and stuff. And people were like, oh, like for like I would say the thing, but then I would kind of give his name away, but not entirely. But and I don't know, people were just like, oh, like he's so this and that, and then like it was kind of like a 180 or something, where they're like, oh, like he's such a bitch, or like he's so like whatever, condescending and rude and sarcastic, and he always has favorites, and he always picks these little hoes as his favorites. Like you can obviously tell because he's kind of young and stuff, and he has like a weird like. I wanted to friend him on Facebook just to like keep tabs, but at the same time I'm like, ugh, like things like that. And he did make me cry one time. I was like, you're such a fucking bitch. When he told me one thing about my Lady Gaga essay, so I was like, fuck you, bitch. Like, fuck you, crotch face. Because he has like this beard and it's so annoying. So I just thought, I kind of feel like the Joan Rivers of me being revived. And I was kind of like, this bitch. Like, I was like, when I first went in, I was like, he's not mean. Like, whatever, like, I always give people a chance. And that is probably going to be one of my downfalls on life. And I was just remember walking like, oh, he looks like a cool guy, blah, 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 whatever, like just whatever. And supposedly like later on in the year we found out like his brother hates him or his family hates him, and I'm just like, maybe he uses that against other people, maybe he like, I don't know, like fists himself with a carrot. I don't know what he does, but he's like so weird and awkward sometimes also. He was kind of creepy. He had like a boner in class one time, and I was just like, okay, like weirdo. It sounds like I'm totally bashing him in a way, but I mean, yes, but no, not my intention, but it's the truth. And then also, he was just so rude to me specifically. I don't know why. And he did have favorites in the class and stuff. And every time, like, if he got, like, mad at you for, like, whatever reason, like, he would just be like, he had that annoying, like, look that he would do. And also, like, are we supposed to be doing that? And it's like so condescending. And I remember one time one of my friends like she told me her story, like how she wasn't talking at all, and I was like, all these other people like laughing like his favorites in that class, and he was just like looking at them and stuff, and then like she was like, shh, you guys, and then like he totally like, blew up on her and stuff, and like I know because one time he like picked on me when we were, I don't know if we were answering questions in our journal or like just writing or something, and then he started asking questions about something else, I don't really know, and then he was just like, oh, so Pedro, he's like, what do we think about it? And I was turned away because we were working with a person like next to us, behind us, whatever, and like when I'm just working and I'm turned away, I just like look down, like you can't talk, you can't do anything, I'm very respectful and stuff. And then he was just like, oh, like since you're turned around and blah blah blah. And then my face got so red, and my friend in front of me was like, are you okay? And I was just like, yeah. And I just turned around and I was just like, I don't know what I said, but he was like, well, that's very wrong, or blah blah blah. And he was just like, anyways, and stuff like that. Like he was so like puts you down. And then he asked like one of his favorites in the class, and he's just like, yeah, that's so good. And I'm like, conversation, they're like sucking each other's cocks or something, and you're just like, okay, like you know what, like screw you, I don't like you anymore, like I'll just sit here in the corner and just be quiet, which I was the rest of the year, but like that was me the whole year in general. So, and then if you do remember, I don't know if I, pretty sure I had stopped making videos at this time, but I had gotten tonsillectomy. Maybe if you watch the Carrie Underwood ones, you wouldn't know, because I went to the Carrie Underwood like the day after my surgery. So I was like high on some pain meds and stuff, and I was front row. It was kind of weird at first because I didn't realize I was front row, and then I moved and some bitch knocked over my water. But I was like looking at Hunter Hayes, and then I was looking at Carrie Underwood, and I felt like they looked at me like, because everyone's standing having a good time, and I'm just like, like having, like I'm tripping out probably on like morphine and whatever else they give you after. And let me tell you one thing. A lot of people said, "Oh, the tonsillectomy is fine. Like you'll get over it." Like even saw Austin Mahone and like some other people have it, Demi Lovato, I think. And then everyone's like, "Oh, like it's fine. Like it doesn't hurt." I remember I met Austin Mahone and stuff, and I kind of like know him through like a friend that I went to middle school with. So I was just like, okay, like it's fast. I just told the doctor, let's get it over with. You know, like I really don't care. I want to get better. I'm always bleeding from my mouth and my nose and stuff like this. So I was just like, let's do this. And then later on, I had to get my nose cauterized, but that's a different story. And I had emailed him, and I swear to God, I still have these emails. But I was like, look, I'm gonna be getting like surgery. I'm gonna be out for at least 2 weeks. You know, like I'm not gonna be able to do this project that we're doing. Blah blah blah. And then he's just like, okay, like thanks for telling me and stuff. Cause like we had groups, and we had to do like something like you're like a judge and a jury. I really don't remember the project too much, except that they were like acting it out in front of the class. Like I want to say the day after I got back or something. And he was just like, okay, like thank you for telling me. Like don't worry about it anything like that. And then I get back and he's just like, oh, like you're back. Look who joined us again. And I was just like, because every other teacher is like, oh, you're back. Like, how was it? You know, and even some people who I don't really talk to like hug me like, oh my God, it's been so long. And I was like, oh my God, people actually like care about me or something. Or maybe they just, I don't know. And then he was just like, oh, you're back. Like, well, let's, you know, like, let's, whatever, continue class. And then it went on sophomore year until like the end of the year. Oh my God, it was like the last week of school. I want to say it was like a Tuesday, but it could have been a Wednesday because I know I had him Monday, Wednesday, and Friday or whatever. How did it go? You know, like how you have A, B days, where you only have 4 classes a day. It was basically like that, and he showed up. Oh my God, I don't know if I was in my anatomy class or something, or maybe I was in no, because I had him for English. I don't remember which class it was, but he came in asking for me. It could have been math, maybe. And I had told other teachers like I didn't like him and like he was kind of mean to me and this and that. And nobody listens to me, okay? Nobody listens to me. But now I got a little bit more bolder in college. You guys know I wrote a letter against my university. And he was basically like, oh, like I need to talk to so and so. But like, and then when he looks at me, he's like, come over here now. And I was just like, and everybody looks at me like, are you in trouble? Because my friends knew, like, I didn't like him. I had an issue with him. Not like we butted heads, but, like, I just didn't like him. Like, he was always picking on me. And he was just a flat out bitch. Like, beard, crotch face, like, I don't know. Like, he probably, like, again, fists himself. I don't know. He sucks his own cock too much. Like, he's way too cocky. And then he was just like talking to me and stuff when he came to his room, like blah blah blah, like oh, like I know you were out for a while and you emailed me and blah blah blah. And I swear to God, I have those emails. I just need to find them because I know I didn't email him on the school like servers or whatever. I know I emailed him through my email because his thing pops up in my email. And he was talking to me. He's like, okay, like I don't know what your issue is and stuff. And like he like gets closer to me, and it was just him and I in a room. And I was like, oh my God, like am I gonna get like molested? Am I gonna get fisted or something? Like is he gonna try to touch me or come on to me? Because he is that kind of creepy guy. And he was just like, this is your grade. And I was just standing there like, I don't know, like insert the Snapchat filter or like. But I was like, I don't know what he's talking about really, because I was just like, I've turned in what I've had to turn in. Like I've only missed 2 weeks that week, and I guess keep in mind that I had 7 other classes that I had to get work done, and I came back. I don't know if you guys have like state standardized tests that like you can go into the next grade if you pass. But I came back the day of the chemistry one, I believe, or if not, it was biology, because I had chemistry junior year. But I came back the biology one. I'm pretty sure one of them. It was a hard one, and I was just like, oh, like okay, like I'm just like I don't know, like did I fail it? I'm like I doubt I would. Like I'm not like I don't know, like Maya Angelou, like best writer, author, poet, or whatever. But I'm like I'm pretty sure I didn't fail, you know, like. And then he was just like, well, he's like, I don't know what your issue is, like, what your problem is, like, if it's this class or whatever and stuff. Like, he was just, like, going at me, and I really didn't know what he was going at me for, you know? Like, I'm just standing there, I'm just like, oh my God, it's like if you're naked and someone's spraying you with, like, a fire hydrant, like, you just, there's just too much going on, you know? Like, someone's, like, slapping your balls as you're running across the street from, like, a Wendy's or something. I don't know, it's weird. And I was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, oh, like, you don't know what I'm talking about and stuff. And he's just like, well, he's like, you didn't finish that project and stuff. And I was like, I emailed you and you said, like, don't worry. And I was like, and when I talked to him in the classroom, also, like, he didn't say anything about it. Like, I walked up to him because that's what you do. You know, you ask for your work that you missed, or like if you have anything else to make up. Because I know I had labs and anatomy and stuff. And it was just like, if it was just a completion grade at that time. She was like, you know, like, you don't have to do it like how they did it in class, because obviously, like, she's not going to take out every little thing just for me to be working in the back by myself. Like, the class has to go on, you know, like, there's tests, there's finals and stuff like this besides the standardized test for this classes. And I was just like, I don't really know. And then he's just like, okay and stuff. And I was telling him, like, I don't really know what you're referring to and stuff. Like, you didn't say anything about an assignment. Like, we talked and everything. And he's just like, okay. He's like, well, he's like, you didn't do that project. That was a major grade and stuff. He's like, this is your grade. He's like, it's not mine. He's like, you can do whatever you want and stuff. And he's like, you have until the end of the day. And I was like, okay, like, these were half days. So we got out at, like, I always get, I think it was 12:45, like basically 12:30, you know, and then I was a bus rider, so obviously, like, I'm not gonna stay at that time, like, I didn't have a ride to get home. None of my friends drove because it's sophomore year and I was not really the person that made friends with upperclassmen. So it's just like, where is this coming from? Like, we had, like, at least a month and a half for him to, like, tell me something every day in class, or, like, especially that day when I asked him if I had anything, and he was just like, no, like, don't worry, like, you email me, like, it's fine, you know, and other teachers were kind of giving me like the same thing. Like, if they told me like it's okay, don't worry about it, like it was okay, it was excused, or it was just 100 if I turned it in, because they knew like I was taking like the state tests and then I was doing their tests and then like doing all the makeup work and makeup tests that I missed and all these packets that they had given us, and I was just like, like, it's like you're getting fisted by Helen Keller. Like, she just doesn't know what she's doing. And I was just like, okay, like, this is cool, this is whatever and stuff. And then he's like, you have until the end of the day. I'm like looking at the clock, like, it's like 12:15, you know, like, we're gonna get out soon. And then he's just like, this is your grade. This is it. Like, and then he just like reclines back in his chair and just looks at me. I'm just standing there like, and I had like an 86 or something, and it dropped down to like a 39 or 38. Oh my god, I swear it's on my report card from sophomore year. I can find it or whatever, the final one. And I was so pissed. Like, I was already mad. I was already upset throughout the year and stuff with how he was like treating me and stuff. But then like that happened, and I was like, this bitch. And my mom knows. Like, my mom really wanted to have a word with him, because even now in college, I'm pretty sure in my, I don't know if I deleted the vlog, but it's like, why am I upset vlog or something like that. I know I mentioned something about writing and how I kind of, it's always there in the back of my mind, like, I'm not gonna be a good writer because like he like jaded me and stuff. And my mom knows and everything, and then I was just like, this bitch, like, he literally like did what he wanted to do, or like did what he could to like fail me or something. And that was it. And then like, I don't know what was happening in like the administration or whatever. Like, we are getting like new people every day, like they say. And we didn't have someone, and he was like taking over for whatever. And he had his little walkie-talkie. Like, he sucks his own dick too much and he wanted more power, so he's like gonna suck everyone else's dick. Like they say, you know, like, fist me, I'll fist you, fist him up it and stuff. And then he, I don't know if it was that summer or the during junior year that it was announced, because I remember I found out, and then my friend, I think she texted me, and there's a lot of stories, and she was like, oh, like, hey, like, Mr. So and so became like assistant VP or whatever. And I was just like, I know. I was like, I was there, I've seen him, I saw his little name on the door or whatever, and I was just like, okay, like, you know, my life is gonna be living hell. Had him for one class, see him in the hallway, and he was so annoying and such a bitch to me. And then now he's like assistant VP, so now he's like, oh, like, suck my cock, like, I'm powerful, like, listen to me, blah blah blah. Most annoying guy ever. Like, you know, it's like those cocky people, like, if you give them like some position of like power or like authority, they think they're all that. Like, they think they're Hitler, and like, you guys are like the Jews, you know? It's like we all became like the Holocaust camp or something. We all became Auschwitz, and he was Hitler, or whoever ran Auschwitz and stuff. And I was just like, okay, like, this is gonna go downhill. Like, I just know it. And then like, fast forward to, I think, senior year. I don't think I've ever mentioned this story, but I got a lot of shit for it. And you know me, you watch me, you've probably heard a little of my jokes, like my Joan Rivers jokes in here. And There was this group of underclassmen. I think they were sophomores or juniors because I had them when I was a junior also. But then when I went as a senior, they were in the same class. This is like a junior senior class. Oh, I don't remember. So I think they could have been juniors at that time, or maybe like like two were. I don't know. But basically, there was like this midget boy, and I had him for another class my sophomore year when he was a freshman. That's why I'm like, oh yeah. And he would talk so much shit with his friends and stuff. Like, like there's just those group of guys that just talk and talk and talk and like say stuff. And like, in general, they're just rude people and everything like this. And I told him that. And okay, and like they're always making fun of people in the classroom. They're always like saying stuff. And they're always like arguing. They're always doing this. They're always throwing stuff around and like being the absolute most in the most annoying way. So, me and this group of people, like us seniors, there's only 8 of us. You saw them in the vlog. If you remember, like Barbara and Josh, you should remember Robert and Celeste and everyone. There's 2 other people that you never saw. One of them we had an issue with, and I think she was like the rat that ratted us out. If you ask Celeste, she could make such a fun vlog. And basically we like overheard them like talking smack about a bunch of people. They're always talking smack, and the teacher knew this. I don't know why she was playing the victim or whatever, or like trying to witch hunt, witch trial, whatever it is to us, like want to burn us at the stake, like stick a stake up our ass instead of like in our heart like a vampire. But anyways, and then of all the things I said those 4 years, if walls could talk, this is the one thing that got me in trouble. Like, like you think of these things and you're just like, and it was so annoying. So this kid had glasses. He's talking smack about other people, like, oh, look at this person, and blah, blah, blah. Like, anyone who walks in, anyone who he sees, anyone he thinks isn't listening, me and my friends, he just had something to say. And it was just like, oh, like, like, this person is trash, blah, 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 things. And I was just like, okay, so I was like, he has new glasses today. What can I say? I was like, 4 Eyes has been used forever. I'm like, he looks like a midget. I don't know. We made nicknames for a bunch of people. Like, we had Scout. We had, like, the boy in the striped pajamas, and like this person and that person, and there was this guy, like this fat guy who had a CrossFit thing, and we just called him CrossFit and stuff. Robert is very creative also. And I was like, okay, he has glasses, he has like a bowl cut, he's a midget. I'm like, let me just call him Velma. So I called him Velma. I think they overheard. And supposedly Celeste was taking pictures when I got called to the office or whatever. I don't know, it was weird. And then like I think it was later on that day, or maybe the next day or the day after that. I don't remember. I was in study hall with friends. And I was on my laptop and stuff, and I was just like, like being myself, like they say, like just doing work and stuff. And then he walks in, it's like, I need to talk to you. Like, flashback to sophomore year, and I was just like, my friends looked at me like, and I'm just like, I don't know, like I wasn't expecting him, like I don't know what this is about. Again, so I just closed my laptop and stuff, and then even the study hall teacher was like, and I'm just like, I don't know. I was like, I'm just sitting here, like, nobody was talking, like, literally nobody was talking. Like, we laugh and we talk in class, but I was like, that day we were just all quiet, like, we all had, like, a lot of work to do, because it was also, like, kind of near the end of the year, and it's, like, senior year, so, you're, like, getting all your work done and stuff, and I was just like, I don't know what this is about, like, again, like, this bitch is just out to get me or whatever. And he calls me to his office, and then I almost tripped on a table, and he just looks, and he's just like, and I was like, bitch, I gotta fall and like broke my neck or like chipped my tooth at the edge of the table and you don't even care. And then he calls me to his office, and I'm just like, he's like, do you know why you're here? And again, I'm just like, no, I'm like, I don't know why I'm here and stuff. And I was kind of like very nervous because I was like, what did I do? I was like, did I do something? Like, I obviously didn't do anything wrong, but I'm like, did I do something by accident or whatever? And he's like, well, we've gotten several complaints about you in this one classroom. And I was like, okay. And then like afterwards, when I pieced everything together, I think it was the girl who sat behind me who like didn't like us or whatever. I don't know. She was a rat. And then he's just like, oh, like I heard you call like a certain person like a name in class, and I was just like, what? You know? Because I mean, there's this girl who opened the door. Well, no, I opened the door, and she tried to close the door back, and I remember I like pushed it. And I was like, ho! And everybody in the classroom was like, so I thought it was that, because everybody was like, oh my god. But even the counselors and like the Spanish teacher, like, I don't know what was in me that day, but I was like thinking, I was like, maybe it's that or something, like my mind's kind of going through overdrive, like, what did I do? Like, I don't think I did anything wrong. And then he's just like, I heard you call someone Velma. And then in my mind, I just kind of sat back and I was like, Velma? motherfucking Velma. Like, of all things that I've said, again, if walls could talk in that school, Velma is a thing that gets me called, not to the principal's office really, but his office. Like, he just needed something to, like, poke me with, or, like, taunt me. I don't know what the word would be. Like, he just needed something to just, ugh, it infuriates me and it annoys me more than anything that Velma, like, and then I told him, I was like, okay, like, yes, I did call him that. And he's like, like, we don't, like, accept bullying and stuff, and, like, blah, blah, blah. And, like, in my mind, I'm like, you're such a hypocrite. And I remember telling him, I was like, your ego is so far beyond where you think you are, because I'm like, you're nothing. Like, you're literal trash. Like, you're just an assistant to the assistant of the vice principal. And you're, like, nothing top. Like, you may be good looking and stuff. Like, you have a crotch face and, like, that beard and stuff. Like, it basically looks like pubes on your face, and, like, your labials, like, finger me. But I was just like, who are you? Like, bitch. And then it was just like, we don't accept bullying again, and blah blah blah. Like, I don't want to hear this. Like, if I ever hear about this again in the year, like, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, again, in my mind, I'm just like, Velma, like, of all things. And he's like, do you have pictures? Because we heard, like, your friend was trying to take pictures, or that you have pictures on your phone. And I was like, no. I was like, it's kind of weird. Like, you would expect me to be on my phone or something, but, like, I never was. Like, I'm more of a talker. I'm more of a social butterfly. And I was just like, why would I have pictures of a kid? Like, I mean, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's Twitter. Like, why would I need to take a picture of him in class? It could be, obviously, I was going to post a picture, I could have just snuck a picture if I wanted, and people were like, oh, well, everyone saw you taking pictures, and blah, 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 and I was just like, no, like, I don't have pictures, like, why do I want pictures of Velma on my phone? And stuff, he's just like, oh, he's like, well, if anything, like, ever surfaces or whatever, and blah, 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 and I'm just like, I don't know what your problem is. Like, you need to suck someone's cock or something. Like, go give yourself a hand job and release, like, some steam. I don't know, because he hated his wife and his kid or something. I don't know. Because I remember one time his wife came to pick him up from class or whatever, and he's just like, why are you here? And she's like, oh, I'm here to pick you up, honey. And he's just like, I told you when. I'm just like, okay. And I was just like, Velma. Like, in my mind, I'm just like, fucking Velma. Like, Velma's fucking, like, dumbass. And then I told him, I said, okay, I'm like, that Velma bitch and her friends are, like, it was a guy, but, like, in my mind, I was just like, this is Velma bitch. It's always talking shit with all their friends and is very rude and very this and very that. And then he's just like, I know. And stuff. He's like, but I don't want to hear it again. I'm just like, it makes no sense. And he's just like, I don't want to hear it and blah, 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 and this and that. Like, I don't want to hear anything about you and everything. And I was just like, oh my god. Like, I just called him Velma. It's not like I called him, like, a hoe, like a tramp, a slut, a cunt, like, fucking carpet muncher. Like, I don't know. Like, there are so many things I could have called him. Like, like, little fucking Jewish boy. I don't know. I just like the, things. And I have a Jewish background, so don't clock me. And, I was just like, Velma. And then the next day in that class, when we came by, the teacher was like, no talking, like, no this, like, only reading, you better have a book. She was like that for 2 weeks. I'm like, this bitch is, like, the most liberal teacher ever. Like, she was just, like, she's always talking about her hoe stories, and she was a cheerleader, and all her sugar daddy said she had, and stuff. Remember one time, someone was like, oh, yeah, sugar daddy. She's like, no, I've had that, like, it's nothing, and stuff, and, like, she has a kid, and, I don't know. She's weird. She's, like, the flopped version of Trisha Paytas, like, you want her to be up here, but, like, she's, like, yeah. She's, like, I don't know. She's a teacher, so what do you expect? And then, my mom's a teacher, so whatever. And, I was just like, where is all this coming from? And then, like, Velma and his friends were still talking shit about people to the end of this year. And I'm pretty sure they graduated, and when they're gonna graduate this year, I don't know. And I was just like, this fucking Velma bitch. But basically, that was my little assistant VP who used to be a teacher, who was, like, hated by his family. Like, he's probably, like, the black sheep, and he's just used his authoritative power in school to be, like, some bitch, like, and you're just like, some people that just really grind your gears, and I was just like, this hoe. And then Velma, like, it was so annoying, and it's just like, we're not, like, rolling blunts on each other's assholes, or, like, fingering each other in class or something. Like, what are we doing? Like, we're just talking, like, gossiping or whatever and stuff. But again, he was just like, I don't want to hear it, and blah blah blah. And then I remember at a graduation practice, or graduation day, because I don't know if I shook his hand or if he called my name. I honestly don't remember, but I want to say, I'm pretty sure I had to shake his hand. I remember shaking his hand, and in my mind, I just want to be like, nobody likes you. And his name is something like you have to be rad, like, be radical, You can probably deduce where the name is there and stuff. And I was just like, be rad, bitch. And I was like, kill yourself. I was like, drink bleach, because you basically wanted to make me do that at one point in my life. And I just remember shaking his hand. I was like, ugh, I said, if only I could like push this out or something, or be like, nobody likes you, or like your family hates you. Like, I don't know, like one of those things, and you're just like, nobody likes you, be rad, and just stuff. And he just tried to be so cool. And I remember one time he's like, is the dress like black and gold, or like yellow and blue, or whatever the fucking dress color was, and tried to make jokes on the intercom and stuff. And you're just like, it's like everybody wanted to suck his cock, but he's like sucking his own cock and sucking people like above him's cock and stuff like this, and he's just like this and that, and like fisting himself in like his office. Like I don't know what he's doing, obviously, but he was like, I don't know, he probably like wanted to like put the head in and like a couple of students in the school or whatever. And I was just like, I'm done, but I don't know, that was my story. Hopefully you guys like this. If you like this, please subscribe or comment down below your like shitty teacher stories and stuff. And I kind of again want to make this a series, Hunty Cunt High School stories and stuff about bitches and tramps and hoes and all these people that I didn't know. But anywho, I want to say hi to Rami Malek, stay safe and God bless, and don't let them little bitches come to you. So again, hi to Rami Malek and fuck you, be rad.